So let's move into the topic, the next important topic, the very, very important topic, the topic that defines data mining. Okay, it's called steps in KDD process. Now you must be knowing what is KDD, knowledge discovery in databases. So we are extracting knowledge from our databases. Okay, in between there are steps. In between you get what you known as data mining. So people will always ask you. It's like, when people ask you about waterfall model, they'll always say, okay, when people ask you about the waterfall model, they'll always ask you, in software engineering, waterfall model. Okay, maybe in ATC, what are formal languages? Maybe in DBMS. Okay, what is the best SQL query that you have learned? Okay, what is SQL? Okay, SQL queries. In computer networks, we have that entire layers, right? We got physical layer, then all layer, that layer, this layer, and all the OSI model, something like that. Okay, the networks aspect of it. So just like that, in data mining, okay, in data mining, we know we have what is known as steps involved in your KDD process. It's such a good topic, and just to know an overall view of what really going to happen here. Okay, as you can see in the diagram, the first step basically deals with databases. Okay, the next thing is you're going to do the cleaning aspect of it, data cleaning. Then you put that everything into data warehouse. You must be knowing what are the steps we followed in data cleaning and all. Okay, then you see this data selection and transformation. Okay, what is known as extraction, transformation, and loading. Then you put everything into what is known as the task of data mining. Okay, data mining, and you get patterns. Okay, and you get what is known as patterns, and you do the pattern evaluation, you do everything related to it, and you get what is known as a knowledge. Whatever you see regard to patterns is nothing but the output of data mining. Okay, output of data mining, when you do all the data mining, you put that in form of a graphs, everything, you get certain patterns. Okay, and then when you evaluate that, when you sort of put some analysis into it, then you get what is known as knowledge. Okay, these are some things that you got to keep in mind. Okay, so let's sort of look into this. So what is data cleaning? In databases, you must be knowing what is databases. So what is data cleaning? Data cleaning is what? A removal of noisy and irrelevant data. Okay, you know what are the steps in taking out noisy data, or what are the things that are related to irrelevant data and all. Next, cleaning is case of missing values. Cleaning noisy data where noise is random or variance error. Okay, which basically means you have values that should not be there. Cleaning with data discrepancy, data discrepancy detection and data transformation tools. Okay, there are so many tools which you have learnt of, and there are industry specific tools also related to this. Okay, that's again a two-head of a topic. Even I don't remember the tools as of now. I think probably if I get, I'll probably send you. Okay, the industry specific tools which they use to take out all this data aspect of it, which is irrelevant data. So it all comes in your data cleaning. Okay, then you move into what is known as data integration. You must be knowing what is data integration by now, that you are going to take data from various sources. If you want to put various sources data into one place, then it has to be getting integrated. Probably in software testing, you would have studied what is known as integration testing. What is integration testing in very simple terms? If a project is subdivided into various models, okay, then each and every module you are applying a software testing model. Okay, then it's all working fine. It's all working very fine, very fine. Then when you put all those things together, okay, then also it should be working fine. But majority of the times what happens is, when we work it individually, they work very well. When we put together, they don't really work well. Okay, the cohesion will not be there. Like when you take you people, okay, when we talk about you people, doing things on your own, they do it very well. But when four things are put together in the form of a project group or something like that, probably the output may not be that much, or it may be very excellent also. Okay, you never know. So what is data integration? Is defined as heterogeneous data from multiple sources combined in a common source. What is that common source? The data warehouse. Data integration using what? Data migration tools, data synchronization tools. Why I've underlined all these things is, see, first of all, you must understand that this itself is not there in your syllabus. Okay, but why I've underlined such things where you see data migration tools, synchronization tools is, if you are interested, you could always go back and learn about these tools in detail. Okay, what are these tools, everything and all. Data integration using ETL, okay, extraction, loading, and of course, transformation process. Okay, then the next thing, the data selection process, where the data relevant to the analysis is decided and retrieved from the data collection. Okay, and how do you think you can do? You can do it using neural networks, decision trees, I think, which you are going to study. Naive-based classifiers, you are going to study. Clusterings, you are going to study. Regression, of course, you are going to study. You're going to study all these things. Now you think about neural networks, decision trees, naive-based classifier, clustering, regression. All these things are lab programs in your 7-sem, machine learning. Think about it. All these are lab programs. So you're not going to just look up it. You're going to study in detail of what is all these things in machine learning. Okay, what is this? You are basically taking data which is needed, and to do this, you are doing using of all these algorithms, neural networks, decision trees. Okay, must be knowing what is decision trees. Probably when you studied what is known as a combination of data structures and your design analysis of algorithms. Okay, where you are basically decide, and there used to be subject called operational research in 6th sem. It used to be a management or a mechanical based subject as an elective. But now for you people, it's not there. For the 17 people, the 15 scheme people, it has to be there. There, they used to study what is known as decision trees, where each and every decision is made up of various choices. And at the end, you pick the best choice. Okay, of putting all the data in form of a tree. Okay, that's known as decision trees. Okay, you could always learn. It's a very, very important topic. When you studied something related to graphs, right? Probably you would have studied something related to decision trees at that time. It would be such a nice thing. Okay, then you move into what is known as data transformation. So you're going to pick data from there. You can see that the way it's going. You're selecting data and then you're going to transform that data. Data transformation is defined as what? Process of transforming the data into appropriate form. What's the meaning of appropriate form? The form that people want, the form that it can be able to do what is known as analysis thing. Process of transforming data into appropriate form required for mining procedure. Okay, then it comes in two steps, two processes. First one is data mapping, assigning elements from source base to destination to capture the transformation. Okay, then code generation, creation of actual transformation program. Okay, this is known as your data transformation. Then you go into what is known as data mining. You must be knowing what is data mining by now. We are talking about all these things because these are steps in a KDD process. Okay, what is data mining? A clever technique that is applied on to extract patterns potentially useful or useful potential patterns. Okay, it transforms tasks relevant into patterns. It will put all the data into some sort of a patterns. Okay, next, it decides the purpose of a model using classification or characterization. Okay, classification or characterization. There's not so what do you call? It's not just into classification. I think we can sort of take this line out. Okay, somewhat says 1 second. This line is it's not working. This line is not that what do you call fully general. Okay, yeah, now it's working. Then you go into what is known as pattern evaluation. What is pattern evaluation? Once you do the data mining, you get an output. Okay, you get an output, and that output will be sort of put in some sort of an patterns. It can be in graphs, it can be in sort of an Excel sheet or numerical data, or it can be of any way which people can understand. Or you call it as patterns. Okay, look for patterns. Okay, always look for patterns, right? Because we are more used to your COVID related data. Probably you must be knowing the patterns now. The eastern part, the outer skirts of Bangalore are more potential cases. compared to the interior Bangalore. Okay, of course the reasons may be numerous. Okay, because there's lots of construction activities going on, lot of migration workers do which they stay, they move from place to place. Okay, and of course the amount of testing is also comparatively higher in the outer skirts of Bangalore compared to the interior skirts of Bangalore. Okay, like this, so many reasons. Okay, and how do you make out from all these things? You can put all the data into perspective in form of a graph. When you cluster the data into something, you could always get that. Okay, so what is pattern evaluation? Is defined as identifying the patterns representing the knowledge based on the given measures. You are going to find out interestingness score of each pattern. Use a summarization and visualization to make the data understandable by the user. That's what we do, right? At the end of it, we all do like, we either do the summary part or the visualization part. Even for the results, we do what is known as a summary part. You guys are 53. So for each individual subject, we take out what is the result, we got. Then we see where, the which subject is a subject, the marks is lacking. Then we take that. Okay. Then we see in that subject, what is the marks, what is the graph there. Okay, is that, there's some sort of a fluctuation that is going up and down, which clearly indicates that people have indifferential means of studying it. Okay, or if there's a constant graph and there's some, big dip with, I think 2, 3, 4, 5 people, they're fully failing it. Then again, there's a constant line there. Okay, like that. We can do anything. Okay, we can do anything when you have data with. And if you want to find out any interesting patterns based on it. Okay, so it uses summarization or visualization tool to make data understandable by the user. Okay, see, so many steps, and you can see very clearly all these things comes under what is known as your steps involved in your KDD process. When people ask you like what is KDD, okay, you must always say, and it will come through. It will come through as a technical round question, or in a technical round, any aptitude test and all, where when you talk about data warehousing, mining and all, this KDD process will be one of a short related to this. And other things would be what is OLAP. Okay, other things would be what is ETL. These are these are general terms which everyone expects you to know, not in full depth, but as a general thing. Okay, as a general thing, they expect you to know that, okay, what is ETL, what is KDD process, what is OLAP. Okay, these things you must be able to know. Okay, this is with regard to steps involved in your KDD process. Okay, I wanted to teach you this, and again I'm telling you, this is not the end of it. You can always study each and every part of it in detail with related to this. Okay, it will be such a good thing, such a good thing. Okay, could always go and sort of learn this. Yeah, data mining, data, all those things. Okay, then you have what is pattern recognition at the last step, and then you go into the last step as knowledge representation. So what is this? When you got all the patterns, you have evaluated the patterns, at the end you get what is known as knowledge. Okay, you get what is known as knowledge. So you use visualization tools to represent that data mining results. This can be what? That's what I was saying. It can be sort of reports, it can be tables, it can be discriminate rules. Okay, it can be classification rules. When you classify the data, you're going to see classification. I think I'll put it, the slides, I'll put the classification slides in detail. Okay, characterization rules, all those things. Okay, what is characterization rule? See, I don't know how many of you sort of observe a film or understand the films. Okay, I always take films or something which you people can understand. Okay, so what is the characterization rule? Characterization rule basically talks like this. Okay, if you take a there's something called character graph. A person will be somewhat low. As the movie progresses, he keeps on going up. Okay, there's a change in character. There's a change in character graph. Would have heard of these terms probably when you study something known as, when you're seeing something known as film reviews. Okay, there's a character graph for a hero or a heroine like that. Okay, like that characterization rules basically talks about how we are going to put the data based on certain characters. Okay, based on certain characters, how you are going to put the data. Okay. Now, if you take the same COVID example, what is the characterization rule? The first way of COVID was predominantly harmful to those people who are more than 60 years old. The second wave has come down to that age where it is anything more than 35, 40, people are very prone to it. Okay, very prone to it. So based on the characterization, based on the characteristics of these waves, you could always decide where you are going to put that data. Okay, they're saying the third wave will be very harmful to those people who are less than 18 years. Okay, now think about it. Okay, it's like the graph is moving down. Once you kill everyone, that's who are there. It's not a good thing, right? So just think about it. Okay, just think about that's what is known as characterization rules. Okay, so let's move into this. Okay, this is the entire thing with regard to KDD rules. Okay, or knowledge representation, or pattern recognition, or data mining, or data cleaning, everything. Okay, everything related to your KDD process, the steps involved in your KDD process. Just like in your software engineering, when you study waterfall model as a what you call flag bearing model for entire process of software engineering, this is a flag bearer for your data mining or a KDD process. Okay, now we come back to our syllabus again. Okay, to study what is known as our data mining tasks. I think your syllabus talked about what is known as applications, and then they wanted you to talk about data mining tasks, but we took a detour. That's all fine. Okay, no problem in that. Learning anything extra is not at all a problem. Okay, until and unless we are not going against the syllabus of it. Okay, we are going to cover the syllabus, and there's something extra you always learn. Okay, so again we come back to the syllabus of your VTO thing, and you learn what is known as data mining tasks. Okay, here also I've gone a bit deep. Okay, I've gone a bit deep because I want you to learn all these things, because majority of it you're going to learn again anyway. Okay, even in the next coming models, and also in 7SEM. Okay, 7SEM to be very precise, because you're going to learn under a topic called machine learning, which is learning about it, knowing about it under that topic will be such a big thing for you. Okay, yeah, hopefully you guys are all preparing for all placements related activities, with all the activities and all. I mean, studying aptitude, technical aptitude, all those things. Okay, don't waste time. See, internals, again I'm telling you, know how to manage and all, so make this time useful. Don't let yourself down by doing nothing in these times. Okay, or spending times which should not be that which is not useful at all. Okay, so make sure that people are using this time for a very good thing. So let's do this. Okay, data mining tasks can be done in two ways. One is a prediction task or predicative tasks. The second one is descriptive task. As the name suggests, prediction involves something to predict. Descriptive is something which you are going to put that data in some sort of a form, and then based on that you sort of get to know what is the information. So under predicative or prediction tasks, there are three types: classification, prediction, time series analysis. Okay, time series analysis. Under descriptive tasks, there are again three types. You got your association rules, all those things. Okay, such a big topic. Probably you would have heard of association rules, maybe in DBMS. Okay, if ma'am had taught what is known as okay, how do you put the data in form of based on certain rules and all. Maybe association rules, the topic of association rules would have come and gone. Okay, yeah, what is known as association, then clustering, putting all the data in some sort of clusters, which I love a lot. Okay, because when I sort of do, see, in generally in our result analysis of your class or any class in college, what they do is what is known as a pie graph or a bar chart related ones. Very rarely we do what is known as clustering. I do clustering for my individual subjects just to get to know where are the students basically concentrated at what mark. Okay, I do the clustering aspect of it if possible. Okay, if possible, once you, I don't know whether you got your results and all, the ME results, I'll do that part and I'll show you, okay, how it's all done. Okay, for 53 people. There'll be few people who will be having outliers. will be put in the outliers. Okay, where either those people who got very huge amount of marks, like around 90, 80 and all, and there'll be again few people who are the outliers in a negative aspect, where they get around 10, 15 and all, which I don't think so it's going to happen in ME. Okay, we'll do that and I'll show you, okay, how the clustering can be done for data points, which is nothing but your, what is known as results. Okay, that descriptive, then you call it summarization. Summarization is what we do generally in our college for figuring out what is the results on it. Okay, each individual subject we take what is the result of each individual students. Okay, not individual students, subjects. Then we group it for the class results. Okay, for 53, how many of them are fully passed? When I say fully passed in all subjects, everything, that will be giving your class results. Okay, which generally will be a very good one compared to all the departments in our college. I don't know, till now it has always been good. Okay, hopefully it will see, sort of keeps on continuing. Okay, there were times where, especially your seniors and all, where there used to be, I think the batch that passed up, the 15 batch, first batch. Uh, Other than that, the next batch that was passed out was 16 batch. We were seniors. We were seniors. Okay, now people who are in final year is 17 batch. Okay, you people are the first people in 18 batch. So the first batch of 15 people, okay, the 15 batch people, they sort of topped for all the 8th semester. For an entire college, in an entire college, they topped when it comes to results. Okay, IEC results were the very good results for the entire 8 semesters in that batch, which I think was a very good achievement. Okay, so yeah, basically let's go into this and study what is the data mining task and all. Okay, first and foremost, what is prediction task? What is the main thing here? Okay, you are going to predict the value of a particular attribute based on the values of other attributes. Okay, when I see your marks in ME, probably I must be able to tell you what is the marks that you're going to score in your maybe in data mining. Okay, when I see the marks in your ATC, probably I get to know what is the marks you would have scored it in your, I don't know, going back, maybe in maths or maybe in DMS. I can say that. If I see your marks in data structures, I could easily predict what is the marks you are going to get probably in a subject like, DA. I think data structures are a little bit fully different, but we can say it. Okay, that's called prediction. We are going to use some variables to predict the unknown or future variables of other variables. What is the variables I'm using here? The marks of data structures, the marks of ME. Okay, the ones which I know, I use that to figure out the ones which I don't know. Okay, that's called prediction task. So what is here? You can think of it as two things, that you can have two things. We were talking about this even in the previous session. When you have something which you know, you call it as a dependent variable. Okay, something which you are going to figure out. The attribute to be predicted is commonly known as what? Dependent variable or target knownable. Something which you can see the next one line, okay, that clearly talks about. Well, the attributes used to making for such prediction is explanatory or independent variables. Even in linear regression, you would have heard of a thing called independent and dependent variables. Okay, so all those things keeps on coming, same things keeps on coming. So at the end of the time, what you can think of is we have studied the entire aspect of data warehousing and data mining. See, very little when it comes to data warehousing. Warehousing, it's all about how data can be stored efficiently. That's all. In very simple terms, it's only that. How data can be stored efficiently without any problem. Okay, that's your data warehousing. When it comes to data mining, you put in everything that is possible. Okay, everything that is possible to make it in such a way that you take useful data, useful information, useful knowledge from the data warehouse. Okay, so that differentiation should always be there with you. What is descriptive task? They basically derive patterns. See, in prediction, you are going to predict something, okay, based on some value which you already have. Descriptive, you're going to put that in form of, you're not going to predict anything. You're going to put whatever the data that is there in some sort of a patterns. Okay, you're going to derive patterns or what is known as correlations, trends, clusters, trajectories, anomalies. Okay, that summarizes the entire relationship data. What is this basically? You find human understandable data or human interpretable patterns. Okay, and then they are exploratory in nature and frequently require post-processing techniques. Okay, they keeps on changing, they keep on changing, so you always need post-processing techniques to figure out what is this basically. Okay, so descriptive tasks and of course what is known as your predictive tasks. Anyway, we're going to study in detail, but our sort of understanding of what is prediction task and descriptive task. Okay, but again, you can always go back and see the examples for it or the types under the predictive talks about the three ones. You got your classification, you got your prediction, you got your time series analysis. And when you go for descriptive, you got your association, you got your clustering, and you got your summarization. Okay, three things, so probably it will not be a pattern things. Okay, now when you put all these things in form of a figure, okay, I like this figure, so only I put it here. Okay, it can sort of zoom in if you want to sort of look into this. Okay, I think there's not all no tasks are put in here, but those things which sort of make sense, I have put it here. See, there's data there. Okay, you see all the, of course, you can't see the things and all. So if you want to really see, you can zoom it and check. It basically talks about okay, the what is known as the IDs. Then you got what is known as refund. Then the marital status. Marital status is always two values, right? Okay. Okay, probably three values. Okay, considering you can even consider what is known as divorced as one of the attribute. You have single, married, divorce. Single, married, divorce. Okay, three attributes. Then you got your taxable income. Okay, then whether is a cheat or not, whether it's a fraud or not. So based on that, you can put all these things, okay, in sort of a predictive modeling, and you see the predictive modeling looks more like your decision trees. That's how decision trees would be. Okay, you put this, then you go towards this side. If that is true, left side. If that is false, right side, like that. True, false, true, false. When you wrote what is known as optimal maximum, optimal tree, I think, yeah, in DMS. Remember DMS when you wrote what is optimal tree, optimal prefix tree. Okay, you wrote what is known as towards the left, you add what is known as 0. Towards the right, you add what is known as 1. Then you found out the values to it, right? So just like that, you can use the prediction aspect of it to figure out what is predictive modeling. And you see the first one towards this side, what is known as clustering. You are putting all the data in form of clusters. Okay, see this forms one cluster, one more cluster, one more cluster. And these are data things. Okay, when you put that data in form of a cluster graph, this is what we are going to get. And this will happen even for majority of it. Okay, I think I'll show you. Okay, once probably we'll get the result, I'll show you. See, majority of it will be somewhat close to certain marks. And I can show you that this is a cluster for students, okay, of scoring this much marks. And of course, there will be anomalies. There will be, people having going somewhere. Okay, you can see that entire thing. See, this is one cluster. This is one more cluster. When you talk about anomaly detection, think of these clusters like this. But there are three, see these ones which are sort of put it in your red circles. They are anomalies. They are people who scored very, very huge amount of marks or scored very, very less marks. They are anomalies. You need to either take care of them or of course, you need to take care of them in a way that is to be understood by them. When I said, person who scored very good marks, you need to take care of them. The meaning of that is entirely different to a person. When I say a person has scored very less marks, we need to take care of them. See, the way of interpretation will change. Okay, that's your anomaly detection. Okay, based on your clustering and all. Okay, then your association rules. Probably must be knowing by now. When people buy bread, they buy jam. When people buy milk, probably they buy the other ones. Okay, maybe the bread again. Okay, when people buy the TVs, there's very good probability that they even buy that, that antennas, that setup box things, right? Okay, they may even buy that. Otherwise, how they see it, how they see the data and all, how they see the TV things, right? That's called association rules. If people are buying biscuits, there's a very good probability that they are going to buy even the other related aspect of it. Okay, that's what the even the what do you call retail marts also do it, right? They put all the biscuits together. Why? If he wants to buy a biscuit, he will buy any one of it. They'll not put like one brand in here, other brand in somewhere like 2-3 rows behind. No, they're going to combine all the brands and put it in one row as biscuits. Okay, people may be fighting outside for what brand is better and all, but inside a retail mart, all brands will be together. Think about it. Okay, people fight outside, but inside a retail mart, every brand will be together. People can pick what they want. Okay, it's not, and that's called association. You put related things together just to make sure that people will be easy to pick the data. Yeah. So what is predictive modeling? It uses data mining to probability to forecast outcomes. Okay. Once data has been collected for relevant predictors, we put in what is known as statistical model. Okay. As additional data becomes available, what we do? The statistical analysis model is validated or revised. One of the most common predictive modeling is your online advertising and marketing. What they do? What is this? What is the why I've taken this example? Because this is an example which everyone which makes everyone to freak out. Okay. So what is this? Modelers use web serves historical data running through the algorithms to do what? To determine what kinds of products a user might be interested in, and what they are likely to click on. Okay, that's what we always think, right? We think of a product generally. We think of what is known as there's a famous joke, right? I mean, a person talks with his friend regarding a certain product, and then he opens his Google. You can very clearly see that product will be a suggestion in the Google box there. Okay, so that's highly, it's highly freaking, but that's how things now. Okay, that's how simplest of example that people can think of. Okay, web servers data, and the same thing is showed us what the people are mostly interested in. Then what's the next thing? In these two forms of analysis, you have two forms of data. Okay, what is this? One is classification, other one is prediction. We build classification model to do what? To categorize data, either safe or risky. When you take off a loan, okay, categorize the loan as either safe or risky. What is safe or risky? It is for the bank people, not for the people who took the loan. Okay, for the bank people, it's either safe or risky. Why? Because they want to show whether what is safe, the loan amount will be coming back with good amount of interest. What is risky? There will be no interest paid. There will be no principal amount also being getting paid. Maybe like a Vijay Mallya. Okay, like that. And what is prediction model? To predict what is the expenditure in dollars. Why in dollars? Because again the same example. Okay, expenditure in dollars of potential customers on a computer equipment given their income and occupation. So what is the thing I have with me? I have their income. A person X has this much income, and a person X is of this occupation. Based on this income and occupation, can I figure out whether what is the expenditure he will be doing on buying computers? A person who has a low income and is sort of indulged in maybe daily based activity, labor activity of maybe in construction and all, there's a very unlikely possibility that he will be go and buy a computer. Okay, but a person who's an engineer who works in an IT firm, okay, was a very good income, is very likely to go and buy a computer. So you keep the data which is with you and you predict the ones which you don't know. Okay, that is known as what related to finding out the classification model and of course the prediction model. Okay, some things which you got to keep in mind here. Okay, then of course, what is this classification, everything on all? Okay, such a huge thing. Now, what is classification? If you want to group your data, okay, if you want to group your data, okay, see that following, first of all, I'll give the example. A bank loan officer want to analyze the data, whether the data is risky or safe. Okay, or a marketing manager, he wants to analyze whether a customer is willing to buy a computer or not, or is able to buy a computer or not. Okay, in both the examples, what you are trying to do, a model of or a classifier is constructed to predict the categorical labels. What is categorical labels? Whether it is risky or safe, whether you will buy the computer or not. Okay, these labels are risky or safe, and yes or no for marketing data. This is what is known as classification. You put all the data in some sort of a, you classify data into some form. Okay, that's known as your classification. And what is prediction? Whether a marketing manager needs to predict how much a given customer will spend during a sale of his company. Okay, he's predicting it. See, there it is, just classifying things. Okay, you go here, you go here. Here is predicting, okay, how much this person may spend. Okay, that's different compared to classification. I put you in A section or B section, classification. I predict what is the marks you're supposed to get in maybe in 6M. That's prediction. Okay, in this example, what we are talking about, we are bothered to predict a numerical value. Okay, therefore the data analysis task is an example of a numerical prediction. We are talking about whenever people predict something, it's always associated with some sort of a numerical value. Okay, so in this case, what is the thing that you're talking about? It predicts a continuous valued function or an ordered value. Okay, that's what is known as your prediction. Okay, so you know what is classification, you know what is prediction and all. After this is what is known as figuring out. Okay, or we always show it like this. Okay, for an example, for what? Predicting credit card worthiness if he is employed. See this, there are two examples here. Okay, look into this. If he is employed, you want to give a credit card offer him? No. If there is no employed, how can he pay back? So if he's employed, yes. So then you check for his education. Okay. Well, then if this is a graduate, okay, very good amount of graduate, and then number of years, more than 3 years, there's a very good probability that he'll pay back the credit card amount. Okay. If it's less than that, maybe no. Then again, high school, undergraduate, the number of years is more than 7 years. Yeah, fine, we can give. If it is less than that, we are not going to give. Okay, so this is for model for predicting the credit card worthiness of it. You can see the same thing. Okay, what are the data that you have? Got your employed, the level of education, the years present at your entire thing. Okay, present at the address 52110 and all. Credit card worthy, yes, no, yes. Why no year? Because you can see this is employed, fine. Level of education is only high school, and the number of years at a present address is only 2. Okay, is only 1 year. So they want at least more than 5 years. Then you can put it as yes. So model for class attributes are a function of your other attributes. Okay, this is something which you have to keep in mind. Okay, something which you have to keep in mind, and also figure out what needs to be done. Okay, like this. There's so many other aspects which you're going to study. Okay, you're going to study about the entire aspect of what is this classification, clustering, okay, regressions, all those things which you're going to study. Of course, not in detail, because you're going to study anyway in the next modules that are going to come. But for this question, whatever that is needed, you can easily think about it for a 10 marks thing. Okay, it is going to be a 10-mark question, data mining task. Okay.